Pokemon X and Y came out 10 years ago, and they changed everything. When it comes to Pokemon, I'm what you call a filthy casual. I did play the earlier games, to an extent. That extent being Fire Red and Soul Silver, where in the latter one, I was actually jumping from joy after beating Lance. Damn Lance with his freaking 3 Dragonites.
I'm gonna break my monitor, I swear!
As a kid, I was more into the show than the games. But that all changed when Pokemon X and Y released. I bought it at my local game shop at an incredibly expensive price of 50 doubloons. Man, I was so happy that Christmas, only to get yelled at by my dad for spending my Christmas money that he gave me so that I could spend it on what I wanted. Gen 6 ushered in a new era for Pokemon games, going from pixel graphics to full-blown 3D. Back then, this was a crazy jump. For Pokemon, okay? Every other franchise made the jump to 3D like, what, 15 years before Pokemon X and Y? Which now would be 25 years. Man. All the new 3D models of every single Pokemon were so fresh and exciting, to the point that we didn't mind them looking a bit goofy and completely dead inside. But nowadays, that fresh and exciting feeling is completely gone. Gamefreak has been using the same 3D models for the past 10 years. That's why you see many people missing the charming animated sprites from Black and White 2. I can't fault X and Y for this, however, since it's Gamefreak's fault for being so lazy. Where Gamefreak excels at, though, is the soundtrack. My god, these tunes!
Yo, yo, yo! Ah!
For the most part, this game follows the same story structure as all the other Pokemon games do. A professor gives you a small little guy, and now you gotta annihilate an entire criminal organization.
Oh my god.
This generation's starters are actually pretty solid, but Fennekin and Chespin were completely overshadowed by Greninja. I mean, for good reason, it's a freaking frog ninja. Come on, that's awesome. For this one, I decided to use Chespin. I called him Walter for no particular reason. Also, this way Serena takes Fennekin, which makes this a canon event. You're pretty quickly thrusted into the first gym, where you face off against Viola. That was kind of easy, but hey, it's the first gym, okay? Cut us some slack. After eviscerating Viola's Pokemon, we receive the EXP share, which now gives EXP to the entire Pokemon party. Yeah, I think we got a problem.
Listen, kid, I think you'd be more comfortable over at that place.
Weenie Hut Juniors? Are you saying I belong at Weenie Hut Juniors?
Oh no, sorry. I was actually pointing to the place next to it.
Super Weenie Hut Juniors?
Yeah.
This game is way too easy, and it's not because I'm such a nasty, filthy gamer. Oh my god, I need to touch grass. It's because everybody in this game is a freaking pushover. From the kids, to the gym leaders, to your rivals, hell, even the Elite Four is just a bunch of chumps. Now you might say, well, why don't you just play a Nuzlocke? Well, Steven, maybe I don't want to adhere to some imaginary rules that I place upon myself. Maybe, oh, I don't know, make it actually challenging. Oh, but it's a kid's game. Cynthia? Hello, are we forgetting that these games used to be hard? Even if you want to make these games easier for the kids, how about we install a difficulty setting? I'm so tired of the Pokemon franchise being 10 years behind every other gaming franchise. Anywho, the game's too easy. We go and meet the professor, and his OST is just... so good. And for the first time in any Pokemon game to my knowledge, we get to choose another starter Pokemon. I think this is a good point in the video to bring up the... Gen 1 pandering is exactly what the name suggests. You pander to the Gen 1 fans. You know, the type of people that say, oh, there are only 151 Pokemon. But let me be clear, every generation of Pokemon panders to Gen 1, okay? In Gen 2, you straight up go to Kanto. Gen 3 had the Gen 1 remakes. In Gen 4, you had the Gold and Silver remakes where you go to Kanto again. And Gen 5, okay, Gen 5 didn't pander that much to Kanto, but most people also hated those games when they came out, okay? You can't have it both ways. What about Gen 6 then? Well, there are a bunch of Gen 1 Pokemon in the wild. You get the Kanto starters. They all get Mega Evolutions. Hey, Charizard even gets 2. Mewtwo as well. Speaking of Megas, 14 of the 28 Pokemon that received Mega Evolutions in X and Y were from Gen 1. Is it a bit excessive? Well, maybe a little bit. Does it take anything away from the game? Not really. I mean, if you don't want to use a Gen 1 Pokemon, just don't use them. I do concede, however, I would have liked to see more Megas from other generations. It's a damn shame that we didn't get a Mega Flygon. Most of the Megas look great. There are some exceptions like Ampharos, which is like grew up hair, I guess. But for the most part, Gamefreak absolutely nailed it. After beating the professor, we meet this game's villain, Lysander. The game acts like he's a good guy. Everybody's like, "Oh wow, Lysander is so great. He's the CEO of a tech company." Yeah, cause those can't be bad people, right? Lysander is absolutely hilarious. Most of the time when he shows up, he's just talking gibberish. You see him again in some cafe where he tries to rizz up the champ of the region, Diantha. Something this game does that I really like is put some distance between the first and second gym. It makes the region feel a lot more alive and lived in. During this time, you fight a couple of your friends, go to a castle, a chateau if you will, la-di-da-di-da. But apparently something's blocking your way. Holy, it's DJ Khaled!
God did.
Next up, fossil time baby. I love me some fossils.
What? What did he say?
But first you encounter this game's big bad bosses, Team Flare, who look equally as ridiculous as their boss Lysander. And their goal? To kill everyone, I guess? After you beat them up, you get to choose between an awesome T-Rex and a fanboy sauropod. Not long after, we meet the second gym leader, Grant, who's the most forgettable gym leader I've ever seen in my life. The only semi-interesting part of him is his hairstyle. The dude's got rock in his hair, that's kind of wacky. We move on to Shala City, where you fight Serena for the right to use Mega Evolutions. I say fight, but it's more like a beatdown.
I'm done here.
After Serena, it's Korina's turn. After the most forgettable gym leader comes the most rememberable one. Not because of a gym fight, because that one's just a cakewalk. It's the fight afterwards that makes her rememberable. It's the first time you use Mega Evolution. Plus, you get a Lucario, which is just, awesome. Speaking of which, I get so mad when I think about Mega Evolution. I get mad at the fact that Gamefreak introduced such an awesome concept and just dropped it completely. How brain dead do you have to be to introduce the coolest, most exciting and beloved mechanic of any modern Pokemon game just to f***ing drop it? It's such a great idea since it takes old Pokemon and revitalizes them, giving them a whole new design and viability. But Mr. Gamefreak was like, nah, people love that. Nah, man, we can't give people what they want. Y'all want goofy, silly dances, yeah. In any case, Megas are dope. They make the game way easier, but come on, it was never hard to begin with. New city, new gym. This time we bully this old guy. I mean, come on. A grass-type gym? What are you, dying of dementia? After defeating the gym leader, Lysander tries to get you into a pyramid scheme, I think. And when that doesn't work out, he just kind of pisses off.
That's about it. See ya.
In the meantime, apparently Team Flare has been messing with the Eiffel Tower, which, more power to them. I hate Paris. But sadly for me, we gotta stop them. Also, there's this really tall homeless guy in the middle of the desert. He does that weird thing old people do. Going back to Lumio City, all the lights been fixed so you can freely explore the map. But we ain't got time for that, we gotta beat the gym leader, whose gym is built like a quiz show. Alright, let's see here. First question. After beating the gym, the professor calls you up. Apparently Lysander's been tweaking off of lean or something. I don't know, I wasn't really paying attention. On Route 14, Serena wants to fight again and gets beaten again. You know, you should really quit being a Pokemon trainer. We enter a haunted house where this old man tells us a spooky story.
The jack-o'-lantern. The chocolate ice.
And then the old fart has the audacity to ask for a tip. Now, I'd punch you in the face if you weren't this old. In Laver City, we challenged gym numero 6, I think. Valerie always creeped me out as a kid because of her freakishly big pupils. She uses fairy types, which were introduced in this gen, and are a nice addition since they counter all the busted-ass dragons, but she poses no real threat. Oh, Team Flare's up to no good again, and they're messing with the Pokeball factory.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
So just kind of slap their wrist and tell them to get out of here. Go on, get out of here.
Get out of my house!
Like in the Darman video, the president of the company thanks you and gives you a Master Ball. Lysander is back on his bullshit, but maybe he's having a stroke.
That boy is stuck in time.
The 7th gym is my favorite one of the game, just because of the aesthetics. But also I'm a sucker for the color purple, so take my opinion with a grain of salt. After defeating Olympia, Lysander makes an announcement.
Bro, there's a whole ass bear on my front door. Is shit gonna get tragic? Pneumatic hop in the Venus show automatic? I don't know.
You invade the Team Flare headquarters and find that really tall homeless guy again. Lysander has him in a cage for some reason. You and Lysander have a little scuffle, and afterwards he's like, choose a button. Well, it doesn't really matter which one you press. They activate their Doofenshmirtz Assassinator anyways. Oh boy, this is easily my least favorite part of the game. Gamefreak makes you fight a lot of grunts. Like, a lot of grunts. Also, can I just mention how moronic Lysander's goal is? He wants to kill literally everything, which isn't part of Team Flare. Why, you ask? It's the whole Thanos motif, you know? All resources are getting low and people bad and stuff. Okay, but so what? You kill 99.99% of people and you think your Team Flare Goobers could establish a running system? And Serena's all like, oh, well, he's making some valid points, but the way he's going about things is wrong. Yeah, no shit. Genocide is bad, Serena. Wow. Thank you.
Hey, pal. You just blowing from Stupid Town?
Anyways, Shauna shows up and says something about friendship, blah, blah, blah. Can we get to the legendary already? I absolutely love this scene. This animation is so cool. The X and Y legendaries are some of my favorites. As a kid, I always liked the Volatile mode just because I was a edgy little shit, but nowadays I like them both equally. I love the concept of like life and death. It's a great pick for legendaries. But what in the world are we supposed to do? We have the god of death right in front of us. There's no way we'll... Lysander shows up a final time looking like Dark Oak. He even has his own Mega Evolution now. But you make quick work of him. And I completely forgot that Lysander just straight up kills himself after you beat him. Usually a villain admits their fault and apologizes like a pussy. But no, Lysander just nukes the place. And that's the end of Team Flare. What's the verdict? Not my favorite villain team, not the worst either. They're very goofy, their soundtrack is cool, they're alright me things. Wait, why did I write it like that? We're basically in the final stretch of the game. The professor calls you up and is like, yeah, I want to fight you again. So you beat his ass and he's like, yeah, you're valid. After him come Cherno, Trevor, and Shauna. And for some reason they try to make it seem like these characters matter. Like, at all. Whoa, Trevor, you've gotten bolder. No. That was kind of weird. As for Serena, I actually like her as a rival. She's the type of rival who's like, oh wow, you beat me. Well, you're so strong and cool. Like,
how the fuck you think I feel? Don't ask no dumbass questions.
She's so frustrated that you're better than her, even though you both started at the same place. Is she the best rival? No. Is she the worst? No. By the way, I'm just gonna skip the last gym because he's such a disgrace. Come on, the 8th gym leader, and he only has 3 Pokemon? What kind of shit show is this? Well, it's time for the Elite Four, which are a bunch of pushovers. The only one who can do some damage is the water guy, since his Dragon Dance knows Gyarados. What? Since his Gyarados knows Dragon Dance. There we go. But Malva, Vikstrom, and Druzna? Nah, not so much. Also, can I just mention how ridiculous Vikstrom's area is? The others are too, but his in particular, like, how did he explain it to his architect? Oh, well, I want 2 ginormous swords just falling out of the sky and impaling the ground, you know?
We serve food here, sir.
And Diantha's team isn't that strong either. I mean, she actually has 6 Pokemon, which is a plus point. And she's a baddie. Would. After becoming the champ, the homeless guy wants to fight you. His story is actually really interesting, but you know what? I don't care about his story. Why? Because Gamefreak doesn't care about his story. It is so upsetting how they treated these games. I hate the fact that they create this awesome region with great deep lore about a Pokemon war. All these hints to other areas, 3 unobtainable legendaries, a 3rd legendary in Zygarde, just to completely throw this game to the wayside. These are great Pokemon games in my opinion, but they just lack that fine-tuning that a Pokemon Z could have really brought. Pokemon Z could have really cemented their legacy as the Pokemon game that revolutionized the franchise. Do they have some issues? Of course, they're made by Gamefreak, but all in all, it's just a fun game. It's a good Pokemon game. Happy 10th anniversary X and Y. You truly deserve better. Wait, don't click off yet. I need to say thank you, man. Where are you going? I just wanted to say thank you for watching this video. I also wanted to say thank you for 1,000 subscribers, which is kinda insane to me. Of course, for other people, 1,000 subscribers is like, oh, what are you gonna do with that? But to me, it's special because it shows me that people like the stuff I'm making. And I'll keep making them, and I'll keep making them better. So if you want to stick around for that, you know, it's right there. Go on, don't be shy. In any case, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.